Hello, we're back with, I don't know what part this is, 10 or 11. But we're doing this, so you bought a used Cremina, we're doing a full rebuild here, and just about turned the corner from disassembly to cleaning. I've got a little bit more cleaning to do, but let's address this. Now, as you remember, there was a little skip. Can we find the light here? All right. This is the one part of the group that you really want to inspect. You want to inspect this surface here. You see this place here where the piston has been sitting for a long time. You see the black that's down here. This is remnants of the seal. This is a space here. Looks like a little bit of, almost looks like surface rust. See in here, that white. That's a little scar. There's another one. But these things, there's some scale across that line. A little more scale down in here. All of these things will affect the feel and smoothness of the group. Now, I mentioned my little pigtail. So I'm going to get in here and we're going to do a little more cleaning. Once again, some tools you'll make, some tools you'll just accidentally have, and this was an accident. I'm cleaning the little groove that the dispersion screen clips onto with this pigtail, and this little tool that every once in a while I fear that I've lost it, and we get in and get around these corners and make sure we got everything. See, even though we cleaned it and brushed it and soaked it, there's more that will only come out with manual picking and inspection. Another place that we want to inspect, this is the slot that
Can't quite see where you're...
There's a little slot. Can you see it down in there now? That's where the retaining ring seats.
Yes.
That little slot, I just take my right angle probe and make sure that that's completely clean. Once again. And quite a bit more debris that I've gotten out if you don't have an air compressor. Okay. Now, let's address the inside of this. As the first thing, then we'll set it off to dry. Now, I use about 400 grit paper. Let me just go to a straight piece of 400 so we can all see what this entails. This is wet and dry sandpaper, just cut in strips. Take it and make it a little cylinder. Now we want to clean, so we just put that in there. We go around and around. We want to clean off the remnants of scale. Get it pointed out, examine it, make sure you've just got it nice and clean inside. Once again, I'm staying away from the chrome. See the black that comes out of there. And then you just feel it with your finger. Just feel that it feels nice and smooth and there's no ridges. That's pretty good. There's no reason to overdo it or use brake hones or anything like that. You just basically want to make sure it's just nice and smooth in there. And 400 is fairly mild. Dry that off. Now, when we start doing our service on these various parts, is that I have one more little bit of cleaning to do. Actually, two. Is that I use this is like 40 fine steel wool.
It's about the finest that you can generally get at an Ace Hardware store.
And this is takes the the remnants of any scale off. There are advocates of metal polishes and cleaners and these various things. Here we've got something, we can't do anything about that one. But we go through and we finish this. Where's my little bucket of parts? We finish that one. We go ahead and with our fine, microfine, clean the yoke, or the fork as some people call it.
And if you do this, you want to be sure to use extra fine
Yep.
steel wool,
Just use
because
the-
the coarse stuff can scratch it.
Right, you don't want to scratch it, and you don't really...
Not a lot of pressure doing this. You just kind of a light.
Barb's the metal polish expert, actually. She does all the... she
The
does all
hard stuff?
The hard stuff, I think that was the word I was looking for. The big jobs. And you just make sure you're all cleaned up. Now, this part here, there's really not much we can do. We'll go ahead and check to make sure that the holes are clear, of which they are. Okay, that part's done. Now, we'll go ahead. A little more steel right there. And we'll finish the cleaning process here. You'll want to clean your lever pins, and once again I just use my little wire brush. As I said, these, rotary tools really, they aren't that expensive anymore, and a lot of people believe in using only the best tools, but it's a good investment if you're doing very much of this kind of work. I like this Proxon stuff myself. You see, this one's a little bit pitted. Not bad though, because it doesn't have grooves worn in it. It doesn't have tracks that are gouges or tracks that are worn. This is not too bad. Okay, we'll go ahead.
And these can all be cleaned up by hand with steel wool.
Right.
And some work at it.
Wire brush, steel wool. Just going to go through here. These we're not going to use. Those are the steel. Those are the plain steel bolts. We're going to change those out with stainless. So we're not going to use that. Once again, just inspecting all these parts. So when it comes time to put together, we just reach for the parts, and I'll throw that into some water. Just go through and inspect all these things. Make sure there's no rust. One of those. I think I've done the same one like 3 times.
That's what happens when you put things into the same
I know,
container.
I should be doing a put and take job on these. There's some junk to get off with fine steel wool. A little bit of scale on that nut. Okay, so at this point, let me take them once again. I don't want to confuse these. During the heat of the rebuild, I don't want to put these 6 in, so I'm getting rid of those and putting them somewhere else. Okay, so we look over our parts, and we've got basically all our brass is clean, our piston is clean. Group is ready to go. This is ready to go. Screen is clean. We'll look here in the light and make sure if there are any of these sections that that have some coffee stuck in them that won't come out. You just take a fine needle and you pick on them, and then you look at it and you see where you need to go, and then you just pick and look and pick and look. But usually they'll come out with Joe-Glo if you leave it long enough. So everything's clean. The boiler is going to be polished in our vibratory polisher. Hopefully, we'll cross our fingers that we'll bake that heating element for a few hours and then test it. And if there's no more short, we'll rejuvenate that. But right now, we have to wait for the element. And the rest of it to come together. I think we'll just stop right here. Everything's clean. We're in a little bit of a hiatus. We've got a few hours to wait for the element to get done. We're pretty much ready to start rebuilding the machine. So next time we'll start putting on some new rubber and getting this machine ready to go.